What's up guys, it's your boy Coded99 again and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel is about personal development in various aspects of our lives, and if you like what you see, do make sure you subscribe before leaving. In my last book review, we had a vote between three books: Negotiation by Brian Tracy, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, and What We Guys Really Want by Bruce Bryant. And guess the winner. Give it up for The Richest Man in Babylon! That's the winner, and that is the book I will be reviewing today. The first thing I would say about this book is that it is very educative and it matches the hype written on the book. The most inspiring book on wealth ever written. The lessons from this book were gotten from parables in the ancient Babylon. I'm talking about ancient. Some people may think that since it is ancient, then it is outdated. But reading this book will make you understand that the sun that shines today was the same sun that shone when thy father was born, and will still be shining when thy last grandchild will pass into the darkness. Whew. I feel like I'm in Babylon already. But anyways, the point is that there are some foundational principles that will forever be valid. And one of them are the foundational principles of building wealth. As usual, I'll be sharing various key points and lessons that I learned from this book, and I would really love you to pay attention to them. The book spoke about a man named Arkad, who was the richest man in Babylon at the time. Arkad has an income that constantly keeps his purse full, no matter how liberally he spends. Arkad was very rich, and of course, people talked about him. At some point in the book, two poor men were talking about him, and they found out that the reason why they are not wealthy is because they never sought for it. They desired wealth, but they practically did not work towards it. They worked towards getting skillful in their various spheres, and of course, they earned a decent money, but they never learnt the laws that governed the building of wealth. So getting wealthy became an unfulfilled wish for them. So I hope you take these key points and later on try to understand further the laws that govern the building of wealth. Without further ado, let's ride on to the lessons I learned in this book. I got a new perspective of the phrase, time is money, and it is in contrast to the common meaning. The common interpretation of time is money is that you should not waste time because you could be using it to earn money, which is correct. But here is another perspective. The character Arkad said that if he was to achieve what he desired, time and study are required. And we all have time in abundance. He was talking to two people and he said, each of you have let slip by sufficient time to make yourself wealth. So time is actually money. But this time should not only be used to earn money, but it can also be used to study about money so that you can learn how to make more money. Arkad diligently learned how to build wealth from 0 to 100. My second key point for you is to pay yourself first. Adulthood is a scam. A friend of mine once told me that if he had known that adulthood is this challenging, he would have renewed his childhood subscription. Anyways, the lesson shed light on the fact that we pay rent to our landlords, we pay the grocery store, we pay our families, and for someone who is a gadget freak like me, we pay the electronics store, but sometimes we forget to pay ourselves. No matter how little or how much you earn, pay yourself first. And it should not be less than 10% of your earnings. It may be more, but it should not be less than 10%. Do this every month, and over time you will have some reserve funds that can work for you. And don't try to save too much so that you can still have funds left for other necessities. But make sure you're saving at least 10% every month. The aim is not to save this money so that you can spend it later. The aim is to save this money so you can make the money work for you by investing. And that brings me to my next point: wise investment. You wouldn't go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars. So why go to the brick maker to inquire about jewels? A guy named Asmora had paid himself for more than a year. And by pay, I mean save. And later on, he decided to give all the money to a brick maker who promised to sell a rare jewel at a high price, and they would divide the earnings. As you've probably guessed, he lost all his savings. So what this means is that you should not rush to invest without examining the credibility or competence of the person advising you to invest in a certain thing. And I'm not saying that people in different specialties cannot be knowledgeable about investment, What I'm saying is to ask logical questions like, how well is their current investment doing? How competent are they based on their experiences? Because if you take the advice of a brickmaker who is inexperienced in the market of jewels, you are setting your savings up for perishing. However, through wise investments, you can make your money work for you. The reference in the book was to make your gold work for you. However, it's the same principle, different century, but the same application. Make your money work for you. If you seek advice from competent people, you will learn how to make your gold work for you. And through these counsels, you would know what to invest in, when, how, if the investment is insured, what is the return on investment, and you will be able to analyze the risk properly. But before I lose you in too many lessons, the flow has been 1, to use your time not just to earn money, but to study about money making. 2, pay yourself first. Number 3, after paying yourself, you make sure you invest wisely, which will eventually make your money work for you. My lesson number 5 is to be prepared for opportunities. The storyline here was interesting to me. So Arkad, the richest man in Babylon, decided to have a training session for other men so that they can learn how to build wealth like he had. And someone had a question about good luck. So they decided to talk about it. Opinions were flying all around in the room, and some of the opinions were that Arkad is the luckiest man in Babylon because he is being favored by the goddess of good luck. Others countered that opinion and said good luck is only found on the gambling table after you must have lost a ton of money to the person who set up the table. They said gambling in general is always rigged to favor the person or the platform who set up the gambling table because it is their business and they cannot afford to lose. And others implied that good luck goes to whoever it wishes without them putting in any effort. Before we proceed on the topic of opportunities, one interesting question was asked. And the question is, what do you call a man who puts off those things that might be good for him? And the answer is a procrastinator. So I'm talking about the procrastinator and opportunities. The point is that the procrastinator will not be ready for the opportunities that comes around, because opportunity in a sense is the good luck they were referring to in that meeting. It doesn't get explored by those who wait. It gets explored by those who are prepared and ready for it. The lesson I got here is not to wait around, procrastinate, or settle for comfort. To try my best to be excellent and progressive in whatever I find myself doing, so that when the opportunity comes, I'm ready to grab it by the tail and smash it. Lesson number 6 is lending money wisely. The circle of your borrowers will contain friends, families, even business partners. But if you're going to work your way to financial stability, you need to watch who you lend to and ask questions. Ask yourself questions and ask the borrower questions. Ask yourself questions like, can I afford to lend this person this money at this time? How well has the person repaid the money I lent to them in the past? Or how well have they repaid their previous debts to someone else? If they have a good track record, then there is a high chance that they will return your money. You can ask the person questions like, what do they want to do with the money? Do they have a source of income or means of repaying you? And if they're asking you to lend them money as some sort of investment in their business, then it is logical for you to ask about how competent or knowledgeable are they in the kind of business they plan to venture into. I know it's all questions and questions, but these questions will help you calculate your risk better and know if they will return your money or not. Lesson number 7, I termed it wisdom versus gold. There was an interesting story here about a very rich man who was afraid that his son was not responsible enough to handle his wealth when he dies. So he decided to give the son a bag of gold and a tablet containing 5 laws of gold. He gave his son 10 years to go and prove to him that he is responsible enough so that he can build wealth from the 10 bags of gold and the tablets. To cut the long story short, the son squandered the gold. And later on was when he noticed that the laws on the tablet were to guide him on how to manage and handle the gold. So he had to spend extra years trying to regain the gold he lost so that he can still prove to his father that he is well respected and responsible enough to handle his father's wealth. He regretted not following the wisdom of the laws of gold first before squandering the gold. Because if he had done that, he wouldn't waste extra years trying to recover his losses. The key word here is wisdom. This is just to reiterate that wisdom is the principal thing. Once again, it's not about how little or how much you're earning. What matters most is how you seek for and apply wisdom so you can make your money work for you and eventually build wealth. There is a whole lot more to this book that I cannot cover in this video because it's just going to be very long, but I think you're not going to regret reading this book, and it's a book you will want to keep at home for yourself and for your family. So going to the rating of this book, my personal rating is 5 because this book is really rich, very educative, and could be life-changing. For the content, of course, I'll give it a 5. For the simplicity, I'll give it a 3 because it's not that simple to understand. Sometimes I had to reread some things because some of the things were in parables and you had to go through them again and again and again just to understand them, which is good because it gave room to a level of study. And for the flow, I would say it is really progressive and understandable in that sense, so I'll give it a 4.9. So overall, this book is rocking approximately 4.5. So it's a wrap for today, and I hope you enjoyed this book review. I hope it was insightful and it's something you want to read. Please make sure you like, comment, and share this video with your friends. If you're new to this channel, do make sure you subscribe before leaving. You can also check out my previous book reviews here. I'll be signing off now, and until next week, make sure you keep your soul beautiful. Peace out.